Hey guys, how's it going? So in this video I will be looking at $1,000 laptop. So this laptop is primarily for college students, but it will also be good for people who just want to get a good quality laptop, more like an ultrabook or an ultra thin laptop, but a laptop which does not sacrifice on anything for being thin and light. So the laptop that I'm talking about is Asus ZenBook 13, and this is the smallest 13-inch laptop that you can buy. And this is one amazing laptop for $1,000. It's little more expensive than the previous laptops that I have reviewed in my channel, but this laptop for $1,000, it punches way above its weight, and it's better than far more expensive laptops that you will find in the ultrabook, ultra portable category. Asus ZenBook 13, it has a 13.3-inch full HD display, 1920 by 1080. But what differentiates this laptop from other laptops is the bezels. Asus has really trimmed down the bezels on all four corners. So this gives it a 95% screen to body ratio. So the top bezel is only 5.9 millimeter, and it holds a camera for web chatting and stuff like that. And this is really nice because some of the other laptops in this category, like the Dell XPS, they put the webcam in the bottom of the screen, and that creates a very awkward angle. So I'm very happy that Asus has put the camera in the right place. So the camera is more like at the level of your eyes. So if you are doing video chat, it won't look weird or awkward. The side bezels are only 2.8 millimeter, and the bottom bezel is 3.3 millimeter. So that gives it a 95% screen to body ratio, which is amazing. And there are very few laptops in this category which give you such a high percentage of screen. And because of the minimized bezels, even though the screen is 13.3 millimeter, the physical size of this laptop is very small. The laptop is only 16.9 millimeter thick, and it only weighs 2.6 pounds. And so this is really thin and light laptop. So now let's talk about the screen. It's a full HD 1920 by 1080p display. The screen is actually very bright, 225 nits of brightness. So if you compare this laptop with the other laptops in its category like XPS 19 or the HP Spectre laptop, the high-end laptops, or even the Mac Airbook, the screen brightness is comparable to those other laptops, which is really nice. So this laptop has a viewing angle of 178 degrees, which makes this laptop screen look very crisp at all angles, which means that if you are lying down in your bed or couch and looking at this laptop, like if you have folded it around and if you are watching a movie or reading a text, it will still look crisp. It's not going to lose its contrast or brightness when you are looking at the screen at a little awkward angle. And so that's a really nice feature. Now let's talk about the build quality. The build quality of this laptop is fantastic. This laptop has a spun metal finish on the lid, and there is a gorgeous Asus logo at the center. This is a very glossy laptop, and so it is a fingerprint magnet, and that is something negative. The build quality is very solid, and it feels very nice in hands. It doesn't feel cheap, plasticky laptop, and that's what I expect at $1,000. But I was very impressed with the build quality, considering the fact that it is only 2.6 pounds heavy. So Asus has done a really good job with the construction of the laptop. So Asus claims that this laptop has a military grade durability and reliability, and they claim to have done extensive drop tests and humidity test, high temperature test, and whole bunch of other criteria through which they have certified this laptop to be like a very reliable laptop. Now of course companies exaggerate, and I'm not going to drop this laptop or put it in high humidity conditions, but I think this laptop for ultra portable and ultra thin laptop, I think the construction, the build quality gives me a lot of confidence. And so if I'm a student buying this laptop, I would expect to use this laptop for many years, and it won't crap out in 6 months. And that's really nice job done by Asus. So something very innovative in this laptop is actually the hinge, right? You would think that hinge is all the laptops will have a similar hinge, but what Asus has done here is something which I have not seen in any other laptop. So what they have done is that the lid of the laptop actually extends little farther than the keyboard. So when you open the lid, the keyboard kind of raises, and you get a nice typing angle because the keyboard is slightly tilted, and that angle makes it very comfortable to type. It's very ergonomic. But it's not just the ergonomics. What is happening is, because you are getting an angle, that creates a very good airflow, and so the thermal properties of the laptop, it actually helps the laptop remain cool. And also the speakers sound better because there is more gap between the bottom surface on which your laptop is residing, and because now the keyboard is little tilted, the speakers actually sound much better. So talking about the speakers, the Harman Kardon branded speakers, they sound good. Now this is an ultra portable, ultra book kind of device, so it's not going to sound like your gaming laptop. And what I found was that the speakers were okay. They sounded better than some of the other ultrabooks in this category, and especially, you know, the way the hinge is designed, I think that really makes the speaker sound little better because of the extra gap that it creates. And so overall the speakers are fine, and if you are watching a movie or if you want to get really good sound, I would still use a headphone. Now talking about the keyboard, the ergonomics of the keyboard, like I mentioned, is great, but what I really like about the keyboard is also the construction and the experience of typing, because it's a backlit keyboard. And this is really great for students because if your professor is projecting slides and if you are taking notes in the classroom, the backlit keyboard is going to be very convenient. And I thought the typing experience was pretty good. So on a $1,000 laptop, I expect the keyboard to be nice. I don't want the keyboard to have that mushy feeling which you get if you buy a Mac, Mac Pro or Apple computers. I think the keyboard is very good. Backlit keyboard is always, I love backlit keyboards, especially for students, because you can type in any environment, whether it's dark or whether it's a bright lit room. So something unique Asus has done with the touchpad is that the touchpad doubles up as a numeric keypad. So there is a button which when you activate, you get the number, the numeric keypad. So if you are entering data or if you are typing, if you have to enter a lot of numbers in a spreadsheet or something, you can activate it, and it's kind of nice because it's right there on your fingers and you don't have to move your finger away from the keyboard. So it's again an ergonomic thing. I think it's a nice innovative design. I'm not sure how many people will use it, but I think these kinds of innovations are always good. Okay, now moving on to the most important thing in a laptop, and that's the performance. So I think the performance of the laptop and the battery life, those two things are really important for students, right? Because you want a laptop which performs really well, you want a laptop which has a good battery life, and then the input device, the keyboard and trackpad, we have already talked about those, but those two things are important. So if any of these three categories, if the laptop falls short, then in my opinion that laptop is dead on arrival. So this laptop clearly qualifies the keyboard and the trackpad test. Now let's look at the performance. This laptop has a Core i7-8565U processor. This is a 4-core 8-thread processor. The base frequency of the laptop is 1.8 GHz and it can overclock itself to 4.6 GHz. So from performance perspective, I think this is a fantastic processor. Core i7s are the premium processors you will find in laptops, and Asus has not skimped in this department. Let's look at the performance, the benchmark results of this Core i7 chip. So the average CPU mark is 8957. The single thread rating is 2349. If you look at this CPU and compare it with the other chips, it is sitting at number 2 position with 8957 score. And since this laptop runs at 1.8 gigahertz, it's actually very good, because if you look at all the other chips out there, they are all running at a higher clock, which means they will generate more heat and they will suck up the battery. On the other hand, this laptop has a fantastic battery life. Asus is actually claiming 14 hours of battery life, but you are not going to get that. You know, the manufacturers always exaggerate that, but you can expect to get around 11 to 12 hours of battery life in a normal use where your Wi-Fi is on and you are, surfing internet or doing something. So in my opinion, 11 to 12 hours of battery life makes this laptop an all-day use laptop. This means you can take this laptop, you can charge it overnight, take it to the class in the morning, and you will be able to use it the whole day without charging it, which makes it fantastic, right? You can take it to various classes, you can write your lectures, you can type your lectures. In your free time, you can also surf internet, watch videos, and you will be able to last through the whole day. So let's look at one more benchmark for the overall laptop. This is the Geekbench 4.1 test, and this just gives you a comparison of how this laptop performs with the other ultra portable ultra books in its category. So in this chart, you can see that it's actually performing better than Mac Airbook, the Dell XPS 2019. It's better than all these other laptops, and it's actually sitting at a very good 1110 performance. So really Asus has done a fantastic job. So one drawback in my opinion is that this laptop does not have a discrete graphics processor. It is using the Intel UHD 620 graphics. So this is the Intel built-in graphics chip. So the Intel processor comes with its own graphics core, and that's the one which is being used. So that means it's not going to be a very good gaming laptop. Don't expect to play high-end games on this laptop. But because we are using an internal Intel graphics chip, that's the reason why you're getting such a good battery life. For all the media playback, your Netflix, YouTube, 4K video playback, for all those things, you are going to get fantastic performance, no problems, because the UHD 620 chipset, it supports hardware acceleration for all the popular codecs. So all the codecs like the VP9, which Google uses on YouTube, or what Netflix uses, the H265, All these video codecs are hardware accelerated, so you will have no problems, no dropped frame, everything will work smoothly. But if you are planning to play high-end games, then you will be disappointed. And this is at the end of the day an ultrabook, so don't expect it to perform at the the level of gaming laptops. If gaming is your main intention, then I don't think this is the right laptop for you. Now, even though this laptop is so thin and there is not a whole lot of space, and other companies like Apple have used that excuse to give you 1 or 2 ports, Asus has done a fantastic job. And I always love companies when they are able to create light and thin laptop but still give you all the ports. So this laptop has a USB Type-C port. It also has a USB 3.1 port, the old school USB Type A port. There is also a USB 2.0 port. In addition, Asus is giving an HDMI port to connect it to your monitor, and then there is a headphone jack, which is always important. These days everybody is getting rid of headphone jack, so I'm very happy to see a headphone jack here. And they are also giving a micro SD card slot. So lots of connectivity, and really in this department Asus has done a fantastic job. It's really nice to see companies making thin and light laptop but not skimping on the ports. Coming back to the performance of the laptop, your processor is important, your graphics chipset is important based on whether you want to game or whether you want to have a good battery life. But something which is also important is the amount of RAM, the system memory which the laptop is having, and this one is having 16 gigabytes of system memory, which is really more than enough, frankly speaking. And it's great for students. So if you are an engineering student, or if you are like doing programming, or if you are running multiple applications at the same time and you want to switch between them quickly, you want to have your notes in PDF, maybe your book is open in PDF, you have a bunch of PowerPoint slides open, you have a Word document open, you have Excel sheet open, you have a browser with 10-12 tabs. You can have all those things open and you can quickly switch between them, because 16 GB RAM is more than enough for handling these kinds of tasks. Another important thing is the SSD. So if your laptop has a physical hard drive, then that's dead on arrival in 2019, and I will never recommend any laptop which has a hard drive. This one does not. It has a PCI Express SSD, NVMe SSD, and it's a 512 gigabyte, which means you will get a fantastic laptop performance, including the boot time. 16 gig of RAM plus 512 gigabyte of PCI Express NVMe SSD will give you very fast boot times, which means if you start your laptop from scratch, it's going to boot up very quickly. Suspend and resume is going to be very fast, and hibernation and resuming from hibernation is also going to be very fast. And this is important. I mean, these little things make a difference. You suspend your laptop, you walk into a new class, your professor starts his lecture, and you want your laptop to quickly come back, and so that you can start typing the lecture, right? You don't want to sit there and your laptop is taking 5 minutes to come back. That is not acceptable. So overall, in summary, what I'm going to say is that if your budget is $1,000, if you are willing to spend little more money and you want to get a thin and light laptop, but you don't want to sacrifice any performance, this is the laptop that I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend this laptop over other competing laptops like the Dell XPS 13, the HP Envy series, or the Mac, Mac Air, or any of the Apple laptops. I think this is a better choice than all those laptops. And the reason I am saying this is because you are getting fantastic performance, but then you are also getting a very good battery life. You are getting very ergonomic laptop with some innovative things which Asus has done, like the ergonomic keyboard, the hinge, the way it bends and lifts the keyboard and gives you that optimal typing angle. And the thermals are also nice. This laptop does not heat up, and that's because of the way the hinge is designed, but also because the processor and the graphics, internal Intel UHD 620 graphics that is being used. I think everything is done very thoughtfully. Asus has done a fantastic job with selecting the right components to give you a ultrabook which gives very good performance. We saw the benchmark results. It's a very good performance, but simultaneously very good battery life. And for students, I think battery life is very important, and you don't really want to worry about charging your laptop between lectures, and that's not acceptable, because sometimes it's not even possible, right? You may have back-to-back lectures and you don't want your laptop to be running out of juice. Now, I'm mostly talking about students, but even if you're not a student, if you are like just thinking of buying a laptop which is thin and light and you want to use it for daily day-to-day activity, it's still a very good laptop. The only one thing that I don't like is that it doesn't have a touch screen, and you can't fold it 360 degrees, and you can't do the kind of things which we saw with some of the other laptops which I reviewed, and you don't have a pen support. So those are some of the drawbacks, right? That's one of the things which I wish this laptop had, because I do believe that for students, at least sometimes you want a pen support so that you can scribble something, write notes, right, maybe draw a diagram, and unfortunately you can't do any of those things here. So if that is a must for you, then unfortunately this laptop is not for you. If you don't care about a pencil or a pen or a stylus support for the laptop, you just want a solid laptop with a fantastic keyboard, great performance, great battery life, and something which looks gorgeous, then this laptop is the one for you. So anyway guys, I hope this review was helpful, you found this video useful, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop a comment below. Let me know if you are interested in me reviewing any other product. Please drop a suggestion below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.